So we will start with our prayers of gratitude. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishram Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sujivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Mukum karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkripa tamaham bande Shri Gurundi Natarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Wonderful. Thank you all for joining. It is said in scriptures, it's very easy to start. To build the house, it's okay. It takes some time, but still quicker to bring the house up. Much more easier than that is to destroy the house. And even more difficult is to actually maintain the house. That goes for years and years. And we know in America, you have houses, we have houses here built in 1970s and they are still continuing, right? Because they are being maintained. So that's when I see all of you joining here every week, that's like that maintenance part. And I'm so grateful to all of you. We have been doing it for like almost a year, more than that. Wow, so amazing. Very, very grateful for all of your sincere efforts to actually study the beautiful message of Bhagavad Gita. And we are on a very important section on Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, where Krishna is specifically talking about even if person who is at a higher platform, he does like a regular ordinary person to set up an example. And that is a section we are on, and we are reading to 24. We started 24, but I didn't cover all the slides, so we will restart from text 24 if it's okay with everyone. So let's read this together. Utsiriyor ime loka na kuryam karma ched aham Shankarasya च कर्तास्याम्
Sankarascha kartasyam
उपहन्याम इम प्राजः
upanyam
Praja.
himaha praja.
Very beautiful. Anybody for translation, please? Please.
If I did not perform prescribed duties, all these evils would be put to ruination. I would be a cause of creating unwanted population, and I would therefore destroy the peace of all living beings.
Yeah, very important. We spoke about it. Here Krishna is speaking whatever, and we will see series of slokas where Krishna is showing with his example how he is actually practicing the laws of nature, practicing the laws which he is establishing in Bhagavad Gita. And why is he doing that? Because if the leader is polluted or leader is corrupt, like Mataji you said, Jatha, what did he say? Yatha Raj, Tatha praja, yeah. However, the Raja is, then the people will also be like that. Similar way you see, even in schools or colleges, the leadership is a very important, even for a company to shine and or get into ruination. It depends on who is the leader. If the leader is not, the company will not grow and people will not invest. And today, most of the public companies, they have so much to actually keep up with the transparency and everything. And if the leader is not, the people will not invest in that company because they don't know, hey, this guy can change anytime. We don't want to trust this company. And that's a very important point which Krishna is bringing it here. So when we see what is Srila Prabhupada saying in the purport, the Lord is a supreme personality of Godhead. Now that's a very, and I spoke about couple of times, but worth again bringing that aspect. In our culture, the name of God or God is so loosely used, even for poor people who have nothing to do. Actually they need money, so even those people who they feel they are God because they are giving them food. So that's why Prabhupada made it clear, we are not talking about those men which people made it. We are talking about the supreme personality of Godhead. Who is this person? He is the supreme personality of Godhead, of spiritual world, which is important aspect here, right? I'm just going to put it on mute, sorry. So that's one thing which is being spoken. And now this is what we covered. So what is Krishna saying is, there is no duty for me. Now one may say, how come God doesn't have a duty? Because he's God, he is creating everything. And yesterday was actually Nityanand Prabhu's appearance day, who is none other than Balramji. So it says in the scripture, Krishna's direct expansion, the first expansion is Balramji. Srimati Radharani is not an expansion. She is Krishna, as good as she is feminine aspect. But Balramji is the first expansion. From Balramji, four Chaturviya, which is Chatur means four. One is Shankarshan, Narayan. And from Sankarshan, the four Chaturviya comes, and from there Lord Vishnu comes. So who is the source of even Lord Vishnu? Balramji, ultimately Krishna. But Balramji is the source of Lord Vishnu. So he is the Guru. He is the every Guru representation of Nityanand Prabhu or Balram Prabhu. So when we think about, the Lord is saying, I don't have any duty, which is true, because to maintain this world, we say Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Brahma creates, we just, and Lord Vishnu maintains, and Lord Shiva destroys. So who maintains Lord Vishnu? You never see Krishna is tagged with maintenance. You only see Krishna holding the flute, and any picture of Krishna you see, you don't see him doing heavy lifting work. But Lord Vishnu, you see, he is creating universes and everything because that's his responsibility. So Krishna here is saying, I have no duty to perform, but he is doing, his energies perform the work. Now, when we read ahead in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna will talk, and we briefly talked about in second chapter, Krishna has three energies. One is the internal energy through which whole spiritual world exists. Second is the external energy through which whole the material world runs, which is what we are in. And third one is marginal energy, which are we. Who are we? So we are also energy of God. And marginal energy is superior to material energy, and spiritual energy is superior to marginal energy. So superior is internal, then in between Jiva, which is all of us, and then lower is material energy. But if you see from that perspective, I remember one of my devotee whom we joined together, he asked this question to the preacher. So we are in mid, right? Which means we are superior to material energy. But you see, material energy overpowers us. You agree? Every way. Nature, can you control nature? Can't control nature. Can we control our health? We control our finances to a certain extent, but that is also when destiny, everything is working. In short, there is someone, the material energy is controlling everything. Even why is that? Here we are saying we are superior. So then this is not working, right? Based on that. Very important concept. We are soul. Soul has nothing to do with whether weather is cold or hot. Why? We read that in second chapter, that fire, it cannot be burnt by fire, it cannot be drowned in the water, it does not affect, it cannot be cut into pieces, which means nothing happens to the soul. You can call soul as immutable, nothing happens to the soul from that perspective. So why then we are saying we are controlled by the material energy? Because when we identify ourselves with the body, who created the body? Of course, God created. Provides all the ingredient material energy. Earth, water, fire, air, and ether. They are the main ingredients of all material nature, even for our house and anything you can think about. So when we identify ourselves with the body, then we come inferior to material energy, or we material energy controls us. You are with me so far? So he's saying his energy performed the work. Everything is in him in full opulence. You don't see any deficiency in spiritual world, of course. Unless we read the scripture, we don't know what the spiritual world looks like. So spiritual world explains, sorry, the scriptures explain how spiritual world looks like. It's completely perfect. And there, the nature is servant to whatever Krishna wants. And of course, Krishna anyhow controls, but even Jiva. So for an example, in spiritual world, if I want mangoes in winter season, the mangoes grow. And I was just giving a class on Friday, and I was speaking about it. Nityanand Prabhu, he said to one of his associates, go and get the kadamba flower. Kadamba flower are very beautiful flower, and they grow in certain region of India. So he said, you get me the kadamba flower. So this associate said, and he was in West Bengal. He says, kadamba flower don't grow here. He says, you go out and see if there are any kadamba flowers. So this person went out. When he went out, outside his house was a lemon tree. Now, lemon tree definitely doesn't give kadamba flower. But when he went out, there were kadamba flower grown on the lemon tree. Is that mythological? Absolutely not. Because Lord can do anything. If Lord is limited, then he cannot be God. And that's an important aspect. So everything is in him in full opulence. All results come from him. And the last one is he has nothing to achieve. This is a very beautiful aspect, which is called as this verse, or this meaning of this line is Atmaram. A person who is self-satisfied. He has nothing to gain from outside. For us, we need a job. We are dependent on our job. We are dependent on our nature, like we spoke about, even for taking in oxygen. I am dependent. But Atmarama means a person who is not dependent. And this is what Krishna is speaking about. Yet, why? He does his duty as a Kshatriya, duty bound to give protection. Because that's his dharma. He is playing the role of a Kshatriya. So he is doing his duty properly. Krishna book actually beautifully explains what time Krishna wakes up, what are the activities he's performed, and he's predictable in every aspect of it. When Krishna was a king in Dwarka, which is very important point. And last one, he doesn't do any contrary work. Why? Because he is above all regulations of scriptures, but does not do anything that violates the revealed scripture. Now, question again, and I know briefly I covered. I think last week. So Karna is trying to get the chariot out. The wheel is stuck, and he's trying to take it out. And at the time, Krishna is telling Arjuna, shoot the arrow. But here Krishna is saying he is above all regulation, which is fine, but he does not do anything that violates revealed scripture. Is it contradictory? Yes or no? You so far?
I thought scripture would be to kill Karna because he's in the wrong side of the war.
Very good point. That is one part of it. Because wherever there is adharma, it has to be destroyed. Now, when you apply niti, so then actually I was just listening today. Krishna Karna tells. So let me give you a little context. So this preacher whom I was listening, he was mentioning about one day he went in a train and someone asked him, so you worship Krishna? He said, yes. And this guy gave him left and right. He said, you worship that Krishna? Tell me one thing. Why did Krishna ask Arjuna to shoot the arrow at Karna when he was removing the wheel from the wheel of the chariot where it was stuck? And he said, okay, I'll explain. He kept giving the question rather than hearing the answer. And then he was mentioning about that Krishna gave 14 reasons. And I'll find out because that's a curiosity for me. I haven't got those 14 questions or points from the whole life of Karna. I just remember 3, 4, which I'll narrate it now, where Karna went completely against the dharma, completely against the moral niti. And I already covered not Ashwadhama, who was Arjuna's son, Abhimanyu. He was the one who hit him from behind when he was weaponless. That's the first reason. I gave last week. Second reason is he was the one who told Duryodhan to send Pandavas to the forest. Now, if you remember from that perspective, Dhritarashtra was a caretaker. He was given the license or he was given the seat for the king until the Pandavas grow up, which means he has no right to send them to the forest. Second reason, which is mentioned, or Krishna asked, this was Karna who asked to bring Draupadi in the middle of arena, and he was the one who said you should disrobe her in front of everyone. Now, if you see who's Karna, of course, Duryodhana is their cousin. There is no doubt, but he is the eldest brother of all five Pandavas.
But he doesn't know.
He knows it.
Oh, he knows it.
He knows it also.
Oh, from day one he knows, like meaning he
Not
knows
day
all
one,
the.
but he gets to know.
He gets to know, but before this, for sure, based on the
Before
sequence
doing
of
all
it.
these things.
Before the sequence of events, because the one who actually went to Kunti and told her that I will not spare Arjuna, and he knew it, and Kunti also know. Kunti knows it from day one actually that oh he's the guy when she sees. So that's the third reason, and goes on further from there. So when we see that apparently Krishna is not following the scriptures, but he's following the scriptures, and that's why we need acharyas to make it understand. You're with me so far? Can you move to the next slide? Okay. Same verse. We will continue. So focus of learning for 24 is what? This verse shows Varna Sankara is caused by not fighting and not by fighting, sorry, not fighting. If he is not going to kill those people who are creating adharma, that will create a bigger damage than the one which is creating with the fight, because adharma will create more such people who will ruin everything in the material world. The second point, this refuses Arjuna's argument, going back to the first four argument which Arjuna gave. So now we are seeing that. So this refuses Arjuna's first argument based on destruction of family tradition. Because the moment I saw this, the Varna Sankara, that this same term is all used in chapter 1 when Arjuna gives the reason, and that was one of the reasons. So he's clarifying, he's defeating that argument. What is the B here? Imitating and following are not on the same level. The examples are we cannot imitate Krishna's Rasa Leela or lifting Govardhan hill, but one should follow the instruction, because this is specifically applicable to such people who say, oh, Krishna has 16,108 wives, which means I can have any number of girlfriends or boyfriends I may have, which is being clarified here. If you want to imitate Krishna, then you do other imitation also. Like we'll see the next slide, Lord Shiva. Maybe I'll just pause it and we will cover that. So many pseudo devotees of Lord Shiva indulge in smoking ganja and other drugs, but one cannot imitate Lord Shiva's drinking the ocean of poison. So if you want to copy someone, you copy not thinking that oh he did something apparently not right based on moral principles, but if you want to copy, you copy completely. Why you are just taking it part of it? Because you are not eligible to do other things. And we know this pastime, Lord Shiva, there is a Samudra Manthan going on. Beautiful, beautiful. It's a whole series of chapters in Srimad Bhagavatam. There was a ocean churning going on. And an ocean churning, why there are ocean churning going on? Because the go ahead, yeah.
To get Amrit.
To get the Amrit. But before that, what happens is Devatas aboard or their everything is taken away by demons. And now they want to establish that. So Lord calls them saying that you do nothing of the ocean, coming back to your point, that you will get the nectar. And if you drink the nectar, you will become powerful and you'll be able to defeat the opposite side. But they both are fighting, right? They are both churning the ocean. And there is a series of events I don't want to get to because otherwise we'll cover.
I think the devas are not able to churn by themselves,
Yes.
so they ask
Yes.
Asuras also to come
Correct.
and help them.
Correct. So Lord themselves told them that you make alliance with demons to actually do that together, and the churning happens. And even in that churning, Lord appears as Mandara mountain and then the tortoise. And that's why you see in South India temple, any temple you go, they have tortoise in the entrance area of that one, because that's a Kurma avatar, right? So that is one point. And last one is suggestion to prevent us from imitating. One should consider the position of Ishwar as the controller, who can actually control the movements of sun and moon. Therefore, we cannot imitate the Ishwaras who are super powerful. One should simply follow their instruction. And one has to understand what is the instruction behind it. Like for an example, if Lord Shiva drank the poison going this one, which is this is from Srimad Bhagavatam. It says a beautiful verse. One should simply follow the instruction of the Lord and his empowered servants. Their instructions are all good for us, and any intelligent person will perform them as instructed. However, one should guard against trying to imitate their actions. One should not try to drink the ocean of poison in imitation of Lord Shiva. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10. So Lord Shiva has been invited, saying that, can you drink that poison? And now what does Lord Shiva does? He drinks that poison, but he doesn't drink it completely. He puts it in his neck. That's why his another name is Neela Kanta. Neela means green, right? Kanta means the neck. Huh? Neela means blue. Yes. Yes, the poison. Yes, thank you. So Neela is a blue and Kanta means the neck. And that is where Lord Shiva is holding that. Such a compassion one has. So one has to understand that part. Everyone is with me so far? Can you move to the next verse? So now we are on 3.25. Any questions online?
Mm.
All good?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. So we are on text 25. Shaktakarmani avidvamso
Satkarma Advanso
yatha kurvanti bharata
Yatha
Yatha Kurvanti
kurvanti
Bharata
bharata
kuryad vidvams tatha shaktas
kuryadvam
Vitvast
tatha
Vitsatsa
saktam
Sakta
chikurshur loka sangraham.
chikirshu loka
Lok
sangraham.
Sangraham.
Very beautiful painting. This is Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Maya, who are actually parents of Krishna, and they were actually the king of Raja, which is Vrindavan, and they are having loving dealings there. So I just put it there. Now let's go from text 25%. But before we go to this picture, can we read the translation, please?
I can read.
Go ahead.
As the ignorant perform their duties with attachment to results, the learned may similarly act, but without attachment, for the sake of leading people on the right path.
Very nice. They both are performing the duty, but they are completely contrary to each other. Right? So, what you see in this picture, which is shown on the screen, that there are people on the left side and there are people on the right hand side. So, what is the difference? The difference is in their desires. Arjuna is fighting, Duryodhana is fighting. But what is their desire is completely different. So, one you see on the right hand side, that person is working for the satisfaction of his own senses. He want to have a nice car. He want to spend his time in doing different activities which are not aligned as per scriptures. But on the left hand side, you see the satisfaction for Krishna's desires. So person is still working. The outcome is used in a different way. Like an example is given, and the knife when you see, and again I'm not a doctor, so feel free to contradict that, or however whatever instrument they use. The same knife can be used to kill someone, same knife can be used for cutting vegetables, and same knife can be used in an operating theater to actually cure someone. So is that the problem of the knife? Absolutely not. It is about the intention behind using that one. Right? So, similar way, when we are performing any activity in the material world, it may apparently look the same. However, it is all about intention. Why am I doing that activity? And based on that, what you see on the left hand side, there is a work without attachment to the fruits, which is result of work. And why? To set an example and lead people on the right path. On the right hand side, work with attachment to the fruits and results of the work. And what brings on the right hand side is we get karma, we get sinful reaction or punya, and based on that, we will have to again take birth. But on the left hand side, when I perform that activity, what happens is I get akarma, which means I don't get any pious or impious results. So I don't have to again come back and take the birth and death. You all are with me so far? Okay. So when we see from text 25, what is discussed in the purport, is it too small? It's visible? Yeah, okay. So what we see, there is a comparison between attached and detached worker, and thus establish that self-realized person performs duty to set proper example for common people. So there are two sections which is given. One is a self-realized person. He does work without attachment, and he does it to set an example and lead people on the right path. So basis of difference between attached and detached worker is all about desire, which we covered on the left hand side before. So text 20, 36, 26, which is going to come further now, is covered after 27 and 28. 25, 27, and 28 deal with the common theme. What is that? The difference between the attached and detached worker. What is the verse? The 25, 27, and 28, because we are going to read that. And they talked about the difference between the attached and detached worker. And the next verse, which is 26, and similar one, 29, is going to deal with another common, which is, oh, sorry, the spelling is wrong. How a detached person deals with an attached person. You are with me so far? Activities, which is attachment and how they are doing it. And now in 26 and 29, we will cover how unattachment deals with people who are attached. You're with me so far? Let's move. Any questions online?
No, that's fine.
No.
Okay, beautiful. Can we read text 26? Na buddhi bedam janayet
Na buddhi vedayana again.
ajnanam karma sanginam
Ajnanam karma sangina
joshayet sarva karmani
joshaye
Yoshetaru karmani.
vidwan yukta samacharan.
Vidvani yukta
vidvanyuktaha
samacharan.
samacham.
Translation, please.
I can read.
Mataji is reading. You can take the next one. She
Oh,
can do.
okay.
Go ahead.
So as not to disrupt the minds of ignorant men attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties, a learned person should not induce them to stop work. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sorts of activities for the gradual development of Krishna consciousness.
Ah, very important point. Thank you. Shri Shri Radha Gopi Janal Bhagwana ki jai. Nitai Pati Tapana Gaurari ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This a very, very, very important verse. How to deal with people who are having a lower faith. Lower faith is what means they think that attaining the facilities in this material world, sukh sampati gara ave kastamite tanka, which means they are thinking about how can I attain peace in material world, not from a spiritual perspective but from material perspective. And this is a very, very important verse, because a lot of times we come across people who have different level of understanding about God and material world, and they are firm in their path. Oh, I'm doing perfect. So here, a person who is elevated will not disturb their faith. Why? Though you know that they are not doing right, why would you not break their faith? Because their faith is firm rather than taking them completely away from the process. Are you with me so far? A lot of times, what happens is a person doesn't do that either, because now this person is not willing to do A, he's doing B, and now you tell problems with the B, so he runs away from B also, so he doesn't come for A also, now he's away from B also. You're with me so far? Beautiful example is Buddha. When Buddha came, what was the situation? Buddha is an incarnation of God. He's one of the incarnation, right? Yeah. Buddha is one of the 10 incarnation of Lord Vishnu. And Mataji, Dashavatar is limited.
Yeah.
Dashavatar is limited because there are unlimited incarnation. They only cover certain aspect of it. Srimad Bhagavatam covers even further on beyond that. And I was also on the same page, so don't worry about it. So Buddha is also an incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Question is, what is what is Lord Buddha's contribution? He said, reject the Vedas. You're with me so far? Reject the Vedas. Are Vedas are the song of God. We are reading Vedas right now. So how come Lord Vishnu is telling rejecting the Vedas? You are with me so far? Before Lord Buddha came, there was these Brahmanas taking the meaning of scripture to kill animals, and they were killing animals left and right for their own enjoyment. When Buddha came, and they were taking scriptures, and in scriptures, there are certain sections which are mentioned to actually kill the animals. For what purposes? So that they get a better birth. And there are certain mantras which are chanted. But because they said this is the property of Brahmana, the Vedas, now they took it and they manipulated it. Now they used, oh, now we kill animals. You're with me so far, right? Like for an example, Bhagavad Gita, before I came in this con, what the lesson which I watch, which I used to hear, one common theme: work is worship. You do your duty. That's it. You do your duty. Whatever duty you're doing, you do your duty. Are that is one part of it. And similar way, what they did is they started killing animals. When Buddha came, Are, this is wrong. So he said, where is this? Where are you getting this information from that we should kill animals? Oh, this is Vedas. Reject the Vedas. So what happened? These people rejected the Vedas, they stopped killing. Is that the purpose? Absolutely not. You're with me so far. But these people will not understand to come to bhakti and actually practice Lord Vishnu, whatever is Lord Krishna gave in Bhagavad Gita. They are manipulating. So with less intelligent people, you want to bring them something which is closer to them. You are with me so far, right? When Mrigrari or when Ratnakar, we know they were hunter, Ratnakar became Valmiki, who actually wrote Ramayana. So what did Narada Muni told to Ratnakar to chant? He said, you chant the name of Ram. But he couldn't chant the name of Ram. So what did he tell him? You chant Mara. Now, is that wrong? Yes and no. You're with me so far. Mara is not the name of the Lord.
It's all about the intention.
Which is correct, Mataji. Intention, and second is the context. Which makes sense, right? My intention is clear. The context of people is like that. I don't want them to completely fade away from that. And this is an important point. Here, Vishwanath Chakravarti is saying you should not disturb the mind of those who are attached by telling them to perform jnana. Because they are so attached with everything they are doing. So if you tell them to renounce, big problem. They will not follow that and they will not become renounced also. And that is the biggest problem in the society today, who do not follow Bhagavad Gita properly and they create a wrong example. They go become sannyasi and then come here and then open factories and all that stuff because I wanted to renounce, but I couldn't stay in that position. And then again came back to actually indulge in these activities. And what is the other point? Rather, you should direct them to the karma only. You continue. But what is it? What does that mean? Is to just is to love or to devote oneself. He should make them devoted. Whatever faith you have faith in devatas, continue that, no problem. Slowly, they will be graduated. You're with me so far. Not everyone in the class is a ranker, right? Or another example from our corporate world, not all the team members in the team are performers. You agree? But the role of a leader is that somehow engage both of them based on their activity. Like for an example, from an IT perspective, one guy will do production support, another guy will do development. I need a guy for production support also. If something breaks in my application and online, someone has to do it. The performer will say, oh, this is low class job, I will not do it. You're with me so far, right? So now I need that person also, because I need, once the application goes on live, I need someone to support it. And that's why I need both of these people. And this is a very important aspect to maintain the society, right? The third point is, although the ultimate aim is to know, Vedas are meant for gradual elevation. A realized soul in Krishna conscious should not disturb others in their activities or understanding, but he should act by showing them how the results of work can be dedicated to the service of Krishna. That's why, more than philosophy, what people need an example. Show me how to do it. You're with me so far. You see a person who is chanting and then shouting at other people. Theoretically, you understand all this stuff, but your faith doesn't fit in there. Hey, hold on, I don't understand. This guy is behaving like that. How can I understand that chanting the name of Krishna? So beautiful pastime which happens, real story. Mayor of London. Someone was approached him, and then they said they were just talking about, they were dancing on the street, and then this guy approached because he was on the street. They did not know he's a mayor. So this person said, what is, I see you happy. Yeah, our agenda of Hare Krishna movement is chant and be happy. We have a book also, Chant and Be Happy. So he said, great. He said, come and visit our temple. He said, yeah, okay, what time your temple opens? 5 o'clock temple opens. And then 6 o'clock we chant. He says, perfect, I'll come tomorrow at 6 a.m. This is a mayor, right? So he came next day to the temple and devotees were chanting. So one while, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. And another, Hare Krishna, Krishna. So he got bewildered because for his understanding, chanting and be happy, which means, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, everyone will be happy. So he got bewildered. So he called same person whom he met, he was there in the temple. He said, yesterday did you tell me chant and be happy? But I don't see these guys happy. He said, this is a path to become happy. But one thing which has to be importantly told is there is a chant, struggle and be happy. Because why there is a struggle? Why there is a struggle? Because for me, if I'm a 0 watt bulb, if 100 watt current will flow through me, what will happen? Blast. So from zero, is that the problem with that? The energy which is providing 100 watts is the problem that no, it can only give 0 watt. No, it is my what do you call ability? Yes, thank you. I can only handle 0 watt. The problem with the energy provider that they cannot give me 100. I can only 100 0. But there is a process given from how I can become from 0 to 100. And when I become 100, the same energy is still giving me 100. I'll be able to handle that. You are with me so far? Bhakti is exactly like that. When we are studying Bhagavad Gita, trust me, it is enhancing your faith and it is enriching your life to understand the bigger aspects of life versus what you would see otherwise. And now the ability to handle those difficulty has grown up, because now you are not seeing the problems with the same lens which you were seeing before. You're with me so far? Now you have a better lens to actually see the whole things in the world, right? Which is an important. So if one disturb their intelligence, then they will lose the faith in performing duties and also will not attain jnana. They will thus lose on both fronts, right? So you are with me so far? It's Can we move to the next verse? 3.27. Shrikant Prabhu, then you can read the translation for this one. Okay, so let's read this very, very, very important verse. Prakrite kriyamanani
Pate Priyamanani
gunay karmani sarvasaha
Gune
Gune
Karmani
karmani
Sarvashaha
sarvashaha
ahankara vimuddatma
ahankara
Ahankara
vibhudatma
Vimudhatma
kartaham iti manyate.
karta
Karta Hamiti Manyate.
I
Translation.
can't I can't express my feeling because I say all these verses are important, but this is a really, really important verse. So can you go ahead and read the translation, Prabhu Shrikant Prabhu?
The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature.
Very nice. Read the translation one more time. This is my favorite verse.
The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of the activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature.
Very beautiful. What is the meaning of this verse? We think, because we are the soul, we think we are the doer. Because of me, these things are manifest. Is actually, and why we think that? Because of ahankar means false ego. There are two egos actually. We only talk about false ego, or in material world whatever ego we talked about is we just use the word ego, we don't use false ego. But there is actually a true ego also, which is favorable to Krishna consciousness. The second one, which is what regularly used in material world, is a false ego, identifying ourselves with the body. When we think ahankar, the ego, I am the doer, when we think from that perspective, these activities actually in reality are done by three modes of material nature. So we mentioned now what is the three mode of material nature. Hold on, you spoke about internal energy, external energy, and marginal energy. So who is this energy? External energy. External energy is triggered by three modes: mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. And that is what you see on the picture here. These are three Devis who are working under the guidance of Krishna. You're with me so far? A person in mode of goodness, if he goes to a hill station, what can he think about? If a person goes to a beautiful, serene hill station, a person in mode of goodness goes there, what would he think about? You would think about writing a poetry. Wow, what a beautiful scene is that I want to describe. Same place, if a person who is majorly contributed by mode of passion, if he goes to the hill station, what does he think about? Let me grab a bottle of wine, right? And the person who is in mode of ignorance, he will think about, let me just sleep here. Place is the same. You're with me so far. But based on which guna, which mode controlled by, decides my behavior, decides my reaction. You can actually, this is such a beautiful phenomena. When you see how people are dealing with each other, you can identify whether this is mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance. So, when we think from text 28 perspective, what is being shown here, you see God can be realized in three ways. Talked about it. One is Brahman, and you see that white light. We saw that bigger picture of that one. Second is Paramatma, who is within each and every one of our heart, and third one is Bhagwan. Right? So, engagement of the self-realized soul is absolute truth has a three feature in position in relation with the supreme, which is tattva. And what does he know? He knows his real identity, which is I am the part and parcel of supreme personality of Godhead, which means I am a child of God, and I am entrapped in material creation. It takes time to actually realize this. And one must dovetail every activity in devotional service to supreme personality of Godhead. So this is the jiva, which is all of us. When we know that Krishna, oops, sorry, when we know that Krishna is Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan, then I know this thing also. And what is an engagement in material world? I engage in my devotional activities. I'm unattached to material sense gratification, which are temporary, and understand material conditions are under control of Supreme Personality of Godhead, hence do not by material reactions. What does it mean for us? Very important aspect. We are not. There are three modes of material nature who are controlling us. So one may say, then can I upgrade myself from the consciousness of a passionate person or ignorant person to mode of goodness? Yes. This is what spirituality offers you. When you do mantra meditation, when you read Bhagavad Gita, even if a person is on mode of ignorance or mix of them, not necessary, because throughout the day we could be in mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. For us to sleep, we have to be in mode of ignorance, otherwise we can't sleep. And ignorance is needed. I'm not saying it's not needed, because you need to rejuvenate the body, because the body is temporary, is material, so it needs recovery. But the point is, a person wants to come in mode of goodness. So when you practice spirituality, you come to platform goodness. Another question: how about if I'm already on mode of goodness for most of the day? It brings you above these three modes of material nature, which is fantastic. And Krishna is going to speak about that one. You're all with me so far? So now when we
Yes.
compare, thank you. So when we compare, this is a small table but very important. This is a comparison between an attached worker and detached worker. Remember, there are two themes going on. We talked about the difference between attached worker and detached worker, and we talked about how attached worker is dealing with the detached worker. And the previous verse which we talked about is detached worker. He understand I am not the doer, so he deals with the attached worker from the same perspective. You're with me so far? Is it getting complicated? No. Okay, beautiful. So what you see, what is a differentiating factor for the first one? One differentiating factor is their desire. What is the desire of the attached worker? He wants to do it for sense gratification. You remember that man who had the salary and he wanted a car and all that stuff. So that's one thing. And what is the detached worker doing? He is desiring everything for Krishna's satisfaction. Now, question for all of you. What is in, like we just say, what is in it for me, right? If I think about the application of Bhagavad Gita in modern world, how is the first point relevant to me? And why is it relevant to me? And question is to all of you. Sorry, this is a quiz time. I just want to make sure our main goal is clear. We want to understand how, we don't want to acquire jnana. We want to understand how to apply that in our life. So what do we do for the first one? How is it relevant for us?
heard you saying, right? If you need to get, I think you took example. Someone needs to eat animal. One animal is enough for that person to eat. They kill one, okay, but killing second, third, fourth, but tomorrow day after
Hmm.
is not right.
Hmm.
So I think that's what goes in here, right? In that sense, gratification. It's not just what you need. You're doing a lot more. You are into that. That is not right. You know,
That's
satisfied with what you have.
that's a good point. Now, when we think about first and foremost thing, should we be on the left hand side? So first, there are four columns here, right? 1 and 2 you skip. Should be on the third column or should be on the fourth column?
Obviously,
Thank you. Very grateful. Just making sure. Now, when we think about the fourth, it says desires, which is for Krishna's satisfaction. Why is it connected to in today's world? How can I do that?
To be kind with everyone.
Okay.
actually, I wanted to ask you first. So desire own sense gratification.
Huh.
If I don't do that,
Huh.
does it mean that I'm actually doing Krishna satisfaction?
Now that is very good question, and I'll collect both the points. Being nice to everyone, right? Now that person has a killing mentality. He kills people. I be kind to him. Nice. I'm not saying that is not nice. Will it help him?
Right.
Maybe yes, to a certain extent, based on how his inspiration is. He'll say, this person is nice. If you do good activities, that does not mean those are spiritual activities. Moral activities are not considered to be spiritual activities. And we give an example about Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj says, I will not lie. Krishna asks him, you lie. Moral is, I should not lie, ideally. Right? But Krishna is telling opposite. Should he do it or shouldn't he do it? Do it. Why? Bigger context. Dharma has to be established. I'll ask you a question on that. There was a he was running and people were chasing him. And this thief hid into your house. And these people will come and ask you, did you see that person? You know, if they catch him, they will kill him. What would you do? Would you tell them that this guy is hiding here? Or you tell him this guy is not here?
I mean, it depends why he turned out to be a thief. Why he feared.
Correct. But you are on the spot now. You have no idea what happened here. This is an on the spot situation. You brought up a good point. It depends. And I don't know what it depends on at this moment because this is on the spot things are happening. You're with me so far, right, Mataji? You didn't have any conversation with this guy. So you have no background about what is happening, but he'll be killed. So one aspect from being kind is let him release or not kill him, give him a chance to be corrected. And I give him an opportunity that you shouldn't do it. Second, one may think about this guy did it, he should be punished so that other people do not do it. So morality is a very confusing term. Depends on the context, like you said. So when we think about coming back to the original point, Krishna satisfaction, why should we do for Krishna satisfaction? Because we understood so far in my life, in many, many lifetimes, I am being selfish thinking about myself and I know what it brought to me. Which means there is something better than that. And here Krishna is telling, if you surrender unto me, I'll take care of you. And here we see an example about Arjuna. What is his destination after he follows Krishna's instruction? So what is an application for modern world in Bhagavad Gita when we talk about it? When we follow Krishna's instruction, it takes us out of the cycle of birth and death. So one may say, मैंने तो नहीं देखा किसी को. I haven't seen anybody going back to spiritual world. Well, it is ultimately understanding where is this information coming from? It is coming from Vedas. Not anything and everything which we know we can see. You got my point. I cannot see the air, but I believe the air is there. Right? I cannot see the mind, but we know there is mind. We know I cannot see after a certain distance, but I accept that there are things beyond my distance. So there are limitations, and I understand that, and I understand the Vedas are but the words of God, and they have to be true. Makes sense? And that is an important aspect. That is why my desire has to be dovetailed, and I use that term. Prabhupada actually brought that to actually please Krishna. In that way, ultimately, everyone will be happy. Second point is the conviction. First guy is convinced of ego that if I am the doer of everything. And on the right hand side, conviction, convinced of his awkward position in the material association. That material world has to offer me only difficulties. Yes, there may be certain nice sunny days I may face, but again it changes, which is important. So I don't want to rely on a changing platform. You cannot stand on a floor which is not steady. You make sense, right? So if you're living in material world which is not steady, I cannot be steady forever. It may pause for a certain period of time, and at that time I am firm standing properly, but that will not continue for a long period of time. I had one of my friend who actually serves here. His brother, pretty young, he left this world all of a sudden. It's a reality of the world today. It's a reality of the world today. Things do not go the way we think always, which is very important. The third point is the knowledge of identity. That guy does not know the body is produced by material nature, which works under the supervision of the Lord. Do not know that he is under the control of Krishna. And symptoms of nations, which is ignorance of not knowing, one takes one takes all the credit for doing things independently, which is exactly opposite on the right hand side. One understand who am I, and understand I am just the participant in the whole drama. I am not the director of the drama. Who is the director of the drama? Three modes of material nature or material energy is the director of the drama, and I'm just an actor. When my role finishes, I go away from this body and I get into another role. Engagement. What is the engagement for the attached worker? Does not engage for, sorry, does not engage his bodily or material activity in the service of Krishna, because he forgets the Supreme Lord is Rishikesha, the master of all senses. And on the other side, one engages in the activity of Krishna consciousness and thus naturally gets unattached from the activities of material desires. It's very important actually. Bhagavad Gita gives you even the path of renunciation, which is not being detached. Not necessary you have to go to the forest, but having cultivating the desire, cultivating the habit of being detached. Very important. I was just reading this morning, there was another class where I was mentioning about Parikshit Maharaj. And we will end with this 128, we'll cover next week. Parikshit Maharaj, he is the grandson of Yudhishthira. We know his father was, who was his father? Abhimanyu, right? Who was killed in the battlefield, and his wife was Uttara. So Parikshit Maharaj is in the womb of Uttara, right? And at the time, Ashwathama shoots the Brahmastra to even kill the last embryo, so that if Pandavas becomes the king, that is it. After that, there will not be any further lineage coming. You want to destroy that also. And Lord Krishna enters into her womb and then protects him. That's how his name became Parikshit. But coming back to the point here, when I'm mentioning about Parikshit Maharaj is a very, very wonderful king. In his kingdom, unlimited grains are there, unlimited rivers are flowing, everything is going perfectly. Even the Kali is not allowed to enter, which is the yuga we are living in. She's not allowed to enter. But what happens once? He is cursed to die in 7 days. And this is where the important principle is. He is also leaving the body. He knows that he is going to leave the body in 7 days. But what does he do? He immediately leaves everything he had at home. Developing that detachment is so difficult. When living in a house, we develop attachment towards the house. What is house? Dull matter. Can house reciprocate? House doesn't have a soul. You're with me so far, right? It's a dull matter made of bricks. and dust and whatever extra material is there on top of it, but we develop attachment with that. Same way for the car, metal and few mechanical things, but we get attached. This is my car, and if something happens, it get. Imagine all that is earned by using this body. Yes, you agree? Because I have this body, that's how I'm able to run my salary, I'm able to run my car, I'm able to maintain my house, I'm able to maintain my family, I'm able to have all my relationships, I'm able to have bank account and so many etc 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 here. One day we have to give up this body. How would that feel? Extremely painful. We will also go through that too. Extremely painful. Not physically also, depending on how we are living, mentally. Or I am going to lose my identity. Very difficult. Very difficult.
Once you die, you are not even mentioned with the name they call it the body.
Very good point. Why? Or the same person who's attached to that body, even those people in connection with that, they'll cry, not saying there is an attachment there for them, same way like for this person who is leaving. But now it's not a person for me, it's a body. How does it feel for us when we are doing? I was just sharing this thing. When we go to the beach, kids, what they do is they create beautiful palaces, or what they call is castle. They build that in the sand, and the wave just takes away. And then the kids start crying. And we tell them, why are you crying? This is just made of sand. It is temporary. The waves will take away everything. You agree? We laugh at it. But actually, in reality, when we are grown up, we also make our own castle. We also make our own things. This is my castle, whatever way it is. And with the wave of time, everything is taken away. And that is how powerful the time is. That's why everything in material world is a dead investment. Dead investment. What is a real investment is to actually understand what is the goal of life and invest your time and energy like you all are doing here. Very, very grateful. I just want to share from my heart. Great weather to be outside. But you understand, great, I have responsibility here. This is not the purpose of my life. Yes, I have in my family, work. That's not what am I here for. I've been doing it for many, many lifetimes. Let's give this one lifetime to Krishna and see what is the result. So sorry, I went 4 minutes over time. We will start from 28 next week. Any questions or comments or reflections or takeaways, however you put it?
Yeah, I'm good. It's a good.
Okay.
Today's class is really, really important. A lot of things have been discussed.
Last verse is extremely important, bro. Hare Krishna. This morning, I just want to share my personal experience. So you all know I'm a single parent. I have 2 kids and I struggle a lot. My parents come, they are pretty old, but they come just to support. And my mother already fell twice, so she had a fracture. And then on top of it, she doctor said, that you have to take care of it. Make sure you don't know. This morning, I was chanting and she was bringing the breakfast. She fell down again. I'm like, Krishna, I don't know what is this. So I was in the temple room. I have beautiful deities. And then I was thinking, how do I take this situation? I was thinking about everything is so temporary in this world. It was for me, their support is the crux because of which I'm running my family. And now if that is taken away, what will I do? But that is anyhow going to be taken away one day. I was just thinking about myself. How do I take it? And every breath I take, every moment given by Krishna, I have to develop gratitude. My Lord, if I'm able to do this because of you, if I'm able to do this, it's because of you. And that gratitude is the key. When things happen, yeah, I was anyhow loaned that term, the period of whatever facilities I had, assets I had. Now that loan term is over. That's not mine. Like a lease. We lease the house, we lease the apartment, we lease the place, we lease the body, we lease the relationship. And one day those relationships are going to go away. And that's how I just wanted to share that. So thank you. Any other comments? Can we chant one round together if that's okay with everyone? Ashok Prabhu, Shrikant Prabhu, you have any comments?
No, thank you. It was wonderful today.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
To find the purpose of this life, this is important that we have to go away from material and find the purpose, and that is do the good karma and devote to Lord Krishna.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Shrikant Prabhu, you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think that picture which shows that those three gunas and like a puppet show type of thing. So every time